Hello and welcome to the fifth and final game of the 2000 point league that I'm doing with Chaos Knights. I'm going to start off going through my list. I'll then say who my opponent is, and I'll go through the primary mission and the mission rule. So my list is the same as it has been the last three. A Chaos Knight Lancer, a War Dog Stalker with the Aura of Terror, which just gives you sticky objectives, 6 War Dog Brigands with the Havoc multi-launchers, and 3 War Dog Carnivores, again Havoc multi-launchers. My opponent was using Tau, and they had the detachment, I cannot remember the name of it, but turn 3 onwards they get sustained hits, and while a unit is guiding the unit that is shooting, there's probably a better way of saying that, but that's what you've got, it becomes sustained hits 2 instead of sustained hits 1. Inspired leadership just means while you're within 6 inches of your warlord, I believe it's +1 to your battle shock tests. It may be reroll your battle shock tests, I can't entirely remember. Then Scorched Earth is 5 points for each objective you're holding, up to 10. And then you score 5 victory points if you burn an objective, which is still an action on it, and you score 5 victory points at the end of your opponent's turn. Or if you do their home objective, then you get 10 victory points instead. So I forgot to take pictures for the first 2 turns this time, because we were in a bit of a rush as my opponent turned up late. So I will do my best to roughly catch you up to speed with what's happening in the game. So turn 1, obviously no primary, but I draw Assassination and Secure No Man's Land. So in the top left I push up 1 Carnivore onto my nearest objective, and I also ran down another Carnivore across the bottom onto the objective that you can see nearest the screen now at the bottom. So he was sat just on the edge of that. There was a ghost kill on the other side of the wall, and I had more OC than the ghost kill gave off. So I ended up getting Secure No Man's for 5. My opponent drew Containment and Sabotage. They ended up scoring Containment. Then turn 2 they got... Containment they got for 3. Sabotage they ended up scoring the next turn for 3. In my turn 2, I got Overwhelming Force, and this turn I killed the Ghost Kill with my Lancer. I then got Recover Assets, which I redrew for Engage in all fronts, which ended up score maximum on with 4 points. As you can see from where I am now. I believe this is tail end of turn 2. So my opponent also drew... Oh no, this must be the tail end of my turn 2. So the Carnivore up the top had just killed a Hammerhead, and then consolidated into a unit of stealth suits. So from there, my opponent this turn obviously completed Sabotage, as I just said. Then they drew Recover Assets, which they didn't want, so they got rid of it for Secure No Man's Land, which they ended up getting 5 for this turn, as they were holding the nearest objective and also the centre. This picture is showing how I set up my backfield to stop screening, because at this point he had 2 lots of, I'm gonna say, Sunforge battlesuits, whichever the melter ones are. He had 2 lots of them in Deep Strike, and he also took 2 lots of Vespids, which can come off the board and back on again. So, although I was using resources, keeping it at the back of the board and not doing an awful lot, it did help out in the long run to stop him just dropping in my backline and me not being able to do anything about it. So, come turn 3, we get Area Denial, and we get No Prisoners. For Area Denial, we only got 2 points, as there were stealth suits hidden around the corner, which I couldn't do an awful lot about, because I was still using my indirect at this point to kill the Vespid units. But I did end up getting both of them this turn, which obviously helped with no prisoners. And I ended up getting 5 for no prisoners. I cannot remember the other thing I killed. I'm recording this about a week after my game, so I don't remember all of the details from the game. However, the picture you can see on screen now, this was my opponent's turn 3. You can't see it, but over at the top where my carnivore is where one lot of battle suits came in, and then you can see the other lot of battle suits near my lancer. So yeah, this turn the lancer took a beating. But my opponent scored recover assets for 3 and defend stronghold for 3 in his turn 3. He also managed to get the lancer down to 1 wound this turn. Can't see on the dice how many wounds it has currently, but I gave it a stratagem to give the lancer a 6+ feel no pain, which it helped. I got very lucky with some of the rolls on it. However, what neither of us expected was, I believe the lancer was down to 6 wounds. Maybe it was 7. But it was along those lines. My opponent charged with his devilfish and used tank shock on my lancer, dealing, it was either 5 wounds and leaving me on 1 wound left, or he dealt 6 and he left me on 1 wound left, which you can see in the picture now. The lancer then hit back. He hits on 2s. What do I get? I get 3 1s. But the other 2 go through, so that's fine. We roll to wound. We get another 1. And like a 3 or something, which then went through. But that didn't kill the devilfish. So devilfish has just survived combat with the lancer, and the lancer is now stuck in combat with it until I can find a way to move it. So my turn 4, I draw Bring It Down and Establish Locust. I decide to discard Establish Locust for Containment, which Containment's not the end of the world, not ideal, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. So Bring It Down, we end up scoring, as you now can't see it, but there's a brigand next to my lancer, and he ends up shooting and killing the devilfish. So the lancer moves out towards the battlesuits that came down. They then overwatch the shit out of it, and the lancer dies. So all it really did this game was kill a what's it called? Ghost kill. So it could have done a lot more, but it also could have done a lot less. So I can't complain too much. As you can see now, the carnivore is in the centre. That was to finish off, I believe it was a group of Vespids. It may have been a group of stealth suits. Yeah, so that's where he went. We've now got Brigand down the bottom, 2 Brigands on my side, central area, 2 Brigands up the top, and then my Stalker is still on the home objective at the moment. So we've still got a decent amount of units, but they are dropping relatively quickly now. I ended up getting Bring It Down for killing the Ghost Kill, and that was the only monster or vehicle I killed. And I get points for containment with my Brigand up the top. My opponent's turn 4, they get Original for 5 points, as they end up just clearing out the Brigand at the bottom and the Carnivore in the centre this turn. Then they also draw Storm Hostile Objective, but they do not score that this turn. So, just looked a bit further ahead in the pictures. I believe this is the end of my opponent's turn 3. Because they wouldn't have scored Area Denial or Storm Hostile. So I believe this is the end of turn 3. Where they have killed the Lancer now in their turn. With the... no, sorry, they killed Lancer in my turn with the Overwatch. This is where they have moved after that's happened. So, now turn 4, I've already told you. So bring it down would have been me killing something else, which I cannot remember. But that's the downside of recording these a week later. So this is what my side looked at the end of turn 3, I believe. So turn 4, I've already told you. And at this point, the game was looking really close. So I would have been on 30 primary and 26... nope. 24 secondary. Yeah, 24. My opponent would have been on 25 primary and 22 secondary. So it was getting close. Moving into... there you go. This would have been turn 4. End of my opponent's turn 4. So moving into turn 5, I had Marked for Death, which my opponent chose Commander Shadow Sun, who is currently on their home objective. The Riptide that is currently at the bottom right objective, sat on it. And I believe they chose the Riptide in the centre. And I also got Sabotage. So, up at the top, you can see that I've got Brigand in combat with Farsight, so they couldn't do much there. But the Brigand that's at the very top started doing Sabotage in that ruin. I then had a Brigand move up to him to start burning that objective. And on the bottom, you can see I moved one Brigand down, and he managed to kill the Riptide that was on my opponent's bottom right objective. And I charged my Stalker into that Crisis Suit unit that you can see there's only one left. The Stalker was thrown into them just to keep them there, to stop them getting to my home objective so they couldn't burn it. So I end the game on 82. My opponent gets Overwhelming Force, which I managed to score for killing the Brigand that was about to burn the objective closest to me. But they don't manage to score Cleanse. So with the primary from that turn and ending the game, it's 82 to 80. It was an extremely close game. Had they managed to get back to an objective to score Cleanse, it then would have been a draw. But as they weren't able to do that, I did end up winning by 2 points. But it was an incredibly close game, as I've just said. So, nice way to end the league. Like, it was a very difficult army to go against, because I didn't just want to throw everything up the board, because as I said earlier, it was the deep strikes and the redeploys would have messed me up with them being all across my deployment zone, because they would have I know straight away they would have just burnt my objectives, in which case there wouldn't be much coming back from that. But yeah, so with winning this game, this meant I had a chance to win the overall league. All I needed was the Necron player to lose his last game. So it was the Necron player that I went against previously, using Star Shatter Assault. No, Star Shatter Arsenal. Against Blood Angels using... I can't remember what they actually used in the end. However, the Necron player did win, so we end the league coming second. I've just realised how hard that is to read. I will get it up and read out my results then, because I don't know how to make them much clearer while being able to show the whole thing. So, I came second overall. Overall score being 12, as I won 4 games and lost 1. Points scored overall was 432, which is pretty good considering that's out of 500. So I only dropped 68 points. Game 1 was 100, Game 2 70, Game 3 100, Game 4 80, Game 5 82. So really good score. It's the best I've done in any of these leagues. The first league was World Eaters, in which I came 4th. Second league was World Eaters, when I came, I think, 8th or 9th. And then this league obviously coming second with Chaos Knights. And all of these have been out of 16 people, other than this one, which I believe was out of 14. This one was out of 12, apparently. Yeah, 12. Still, I am happy with that. I have no complaints about that. On screen now, you can see a few images from the person that commissioned my Lancer. As always, I will leave links to them in the description, so you can go over, and if you need anything commission painted, I highly recommend them. He's a great guy, and he is more than willing to take on different quests that you have. He also 3D printed out, well, he got some 3D printed things ordered for my Lancer. So the faceplate is not the usual helmet for the Lancer, but he did still paint the normal one for me if I did want to use it, so they are interchangeable. So yeah, if you're thinking about a commission, please head over, send him a message, you can get talking, and he'll give you a quote. We are now going to move on to talking quickly about the next league. So the next league is going to be 1,000 points, and what I'm going to do for this one to make it different is over on my Instagram, I'm doing a load of different polls on my story that you can vote for which army you want me to use, what you want me to use within the army, different stuff like that. And so the first poll was, which army would you like to see me use? We had World Eaters with 12%, Pure Harlequins with 25%, Night Lords with 62%, and then Tyranids got none, which I was quite surprised about. So we're definitely doing Night Lords. The next vote was then, do we want a big unit, lots of infantry, or infantry and tanks? I then found out there's restrictions that can't take any Titanic units, and we can't take Epic Hero units above 200 points. So although big unit won, we've had to overrule that. So there's currently a vote, like the vote is up now, if you can get there in time, that for either all infantry or infantry and tanks, it's currently 50-50. So if we do go over to vote, it really does matter. I will have links to my Instagram in the description for if you want to be part of it. But I'm going to go through all of it once we know what kind of list we want to make, and you guys are going to make the list. So I'm going to be asking which characters we want, which battle line we want, which other date sheets we want, and you guys are going to make the list. I may have minimal input in it, but for the most part it's going to be a community list, and I'm going to try and make it work. So I've not decided if we're going to make one list and use that the whole time or not. I will probably do that as a vote for what we think after we've made the first list. So it'll either be one list that we make and we use that for all 5 games, or we'll change it up each time. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. But yeah, please head over to my Instagram, which, like I said, I'll have a link of in the description. Then have your say. You can also message me privately on Instagram about anything you want to know about, any games within this league. Send me a message and I will do my best to give you the information I know. But until then, thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping up with all of the league games. And I hope you get your say for the next one. Until then, I will see you next time.